So you decided you want to have a destination wedding. One of the first decisions you have to make is whether you want to have a symbolic wedding or a legal wedding. In this video, that's what we're going to cover. Hi, this is Jack from DestiWed Tips. We're here to help you plan a destination wedding and make your destination wedding planning much easier and less stressful. So one of the first things you have to think about is, do you want a symbolic or do you want a legal wedding? Do you know what both of those are? So let's go over that. First of all, the symbolic wedding is a wedding that you're going to get married at home legally at the justice of the peace, your minister, your rabbi, whatever it may be, and then when you arrive in the destination, your guests will think that they see you getting married, but you actually have been married and you will get married in front of them with a normal ceremony. The legal wedding is a wedding that you arrive in the destination and you are going to legally get married in that destination. Now let's talk about pros and cons. The majority of our clients will do a symbolic wedding. Why? It is less expensive, it is much easier, there are less things that can go wrong, and it is cheaper. And you will have to arrive less days before you need to be there because you don't have to go see the justice of the peace or anything else while you're in the destination. If you do the legal wedding, it's going to be more complex, more steps, more paperwork. You're going to have to be on top of it weeks or months before you arrive. And one of the most interesting things is your wedding documents are going to be in whatever local language you're in. So if you're getting married in Italy, you're going to have a legal wedding in Italian, and you're going to have to pay for translation services. So let's talk about some of the most popular places to have a destination wedding and what the requirements are for each one of them. Mexico is really one of our most popular places to get married in, whether it's Cabo, Riviera Maya, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta. Now, in Mexico, minimal requirements for the legal wedding, but there are still certain things you have to do. There is blood work required. You will have to do it when you get there. Most of the resorts will request that you're at the destination 3 to 5 days before the wedding date that you would like. You will also have to send documents to your planner 3 to 6 months prior to getting into the destination. Now, what type of documents will you have to sign? You're going to have to send them a birth certificate with a raised seal, proof of citizenship, so that could also be your original passport or a notarized copy of a passport, which will have to be sent. Now, once you get there, they're going to have to make appointments for you to go to the city clerk, the city hall. Now, usually the planners we work with will take you there or arrange transportation back and forth. There's typically not a language problem as long as you stick in some of the major metropolitan areas such as Cancun, Cabo, or Puerto Vallarta. They're used to doing these things. There's also other requirements in case someone is divorced. So you will need a consent decree or the copy of the divorce decree that comes from your home to prove that you have been divorced. Also, both people are going to have to be over 18, and you will need some witnesses over 18 to attend the actual legal wedding. So you'll have the legal wedding, everything will be taken care of 2 to 3, 4 days prior to your wedding at the resort. And then at the resort, you will then have a ceremony in front of your friends and family. Okay, let's look at the Dominican Republic, since Punta Cana is one of the most popular places now for a destination wedding. You're going to have to send down some paperwork. The paperwork you're going to need to send down will be a copy of your birth certificate, something to prove that you have citizenship in another country. If the bride or groom has been divorced, you need to send down proof of divorce decree or a consent decree from your home state to show that both of you are able to get legally married. You're also going to need to show through the birth certificate that both parties are over 18. That paperwork needs to get sent down any place between 3 months to 6 months in advance. Then once you arrive, you'll have to go over to the Justice of the Peace or the city clerk and process the additional paperwork and follow up with the paperwork you sent down. There is no blood work required, which is nice in the DR. The other thing you'll need to do is bring 2 witnesses over 18. If you don't have people going with you, the hotel, the resort, the wedding planner, your travel professional can help you with the witnesses from some local people. Now let's look at Jamaica. Jamaica is actually one of the easier places to get married legally. You will have paperwork similar as to every place else. You're going to have to send down a copy of your birth certificate. If there's been a divorce, you'll have to send down the legal paperwork for that. In Jamaica, you can typically get there about 2 or 3 days before you want to get married, and they will process that. The important thing in Jamaica is you really want to stay either in Ocho Rios Negril or Montego Bay, because that's really where most of the processing is done with the city clerks. Once that's done, the nice thing in Jamaica is everything is in English. So it's not that as though you're going to have some additional charges for translation. Let's look at a symbolic wedding now. It is much easier. The nice thing with a symbolic wedding is you get to the resort, they'll typically want you there 2 to 3 days prior to the wedding date that you want. There's a lot more flexibility. You're legally married when you get down there. Now, you don't have to tell your friends and family attending your wedding you've been married already. When they get there, they can have the ceremony, and it's going to be just like a ceremony you would be having at home. One of the nice things is you don't actually have to have the local justice of the peace, or the minister, or the officiant from the resort. If you want, you can bring a friend, a family member, a priest, whatever you want from home, and they can do the wedding for you. So it gives you much more flexibility in terms of the structure of the wedding. Again, the other nice thing is it's typically less expensive because most of the resorts, as per other videos you've seen, will give you a free wedding ceremony. So you're not paying for somebody else and additional paperwork and processing. And one of the best things about Mexico and some of the foreign countries is all your paperwork is in English because you already have your paperwork. So you'll get a certificate from the resort or the municipality that may be in Spanish, but again, your legal paperwork is all going to be in English. So hopefully I've answered your questions about legal or symbolic. Again, I think that most people we see are doing symbolic. It's much easier. But whatever you want to do, it's important that you find a travel professional that has had vast experience doing destination weddings in the area you want to or get married in, and he or she will know what the requirements are. These requirements change on a periodic basis. So it's important that while I'm giving you this information in April of 2020, as time goes on, these things can change. Hopefully this information has been helpful. Feel free to look at our other videos, subscribe right down here, and feel free to post any comments that you have. Thanks again. This is Jack with DestaWed Tips, and hopefully we'll see you soon.